Hi, I'm going to take you through the usability improvements in SharpCloud that really improve the experience for new SharpCloud users right through to power users. Everything I show you is available both using a mouse-driven device, so left and right mouse click you'll hear me mention, or on a touchscreen using single tap and long press. The improvements are all available to all users in SharpCloud, so I'm going to start off acting as a viewer here on a dashboard story to show you how some of those improvements come through. First of all, when you hover over an item in SharpCloud, it has a white border, and when you click it, it opens. That's always been the behavior as a default. For click events which have a blue border, historically you've had to click on them in order to fire the action. You've had no information about maybe what might happen. Now there's a right mouse click menu on any item which provides a preview of the description of the item, so replaces a previous tooltip, and also gives you shortcut options to either open the item or fire the click event. So now you've got a lot more control. So here I'm going to fire the click event, and it takes me through to a different story in this case, where I can start to show you how we've improved relationship visualization and display. You've always been able to click on an item and follow its chain of relationships as I'm doing here. But what we've improved is the fact that the view now persists. So when you move the cursor away from the selected item, the view remains in the in-context relationship mode. And this allows you to continue following a train of thought right through your story. A couple of other things to mention. First of all, the default behavior now whenever relationships are shown on a view is to go into relationship context mode whenever you click on an item. So here I'm not having to target a certain area in the center of the item anymore. I'm able just to click anywhere on the item and it will behave in this particular way. Also, you've got the right mouse click option at any point through this chain, so you can right mouse click on any of the items, get a preview of their content, and also perhaps decide to open the item. And this applies both in the in-context view and also in the relationship radial view, which you can still access with a second click on a particular item. This behaves in the same way as previously in terms of you can bring different items to the center, but again on any of them you can right mouse click to see the available options and to learn a little bit more about them. A click on the background, as ever, takes you back to the initial view. Now in terms of filtering, you've always been able to left mouse click on an axis label to filter a view, for example in this case down to show just the high impact critical priority items, and a click again on the same label reverses that. What we've now introduced though is a right mouse click menu that allows you to decide on which rows you want to select and hide, and ultimately to restore rows if you've hidden them previously. So here I'm just going along the rows and then the columns, hiding the particular labels that I'm not interested in to focus in on, again, a part of the initial view. And I can choose to selectively redisplay rows, for example, without having to automatically redisplay the columns. And what you'll notice again with the right mouse click menu is that you get a preview, a little description of the labels, and that's something that can be provided by the story owner or anyone with admin permissions within the story setup. So you've got a nice way of filtering the views. These usability enhancements are useful on all SharpCloud views, particularly here on the timeline view, where it makes it a lot easier now for me just to click on a relationship and get to its associated items just in an easy click without having to try and target a particular area on the item. Remember also in terms of filtering that the quick filter uses left and right mouse clicks. So left click just deselects each item that you click on or reselects it, whereas a right mouse click will just select the current item and deselect all others. So you've got a nice easy interaction on quick filters as well as the right mouse menu that we've mentioned on the axis labels. So I've come back to the dashboard story and signed in as the owner so that I can show you a couple of other usability enhancements that are available if you've got edit or above permissions on a story. Now previously in SharpCloud, if you right mouse clicked on an item, it would have automatically gone into select mode and selected that item. But now you've got that option alongside the others that we saw previously. Once you've selected one item, you can carry on just with a left click and select others, perhaps in this case because we want to drag them down and move them into a better place on screen. But we can also click on the background just to clear the selection. We can click and drag to highlight a whole selection of items, and we can then use, in this case on the wall view, these alignment tools just to make sure our dashboard is nicely laid out. And whenever we've got items selected, a right mouse click on the view background now provides access to a context menu with a lot of the multi-select operations that previously were only available on the settings menu. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go through to a different view just to show you that in a little bit more detail. So here I'll just show how in this particular view, if we wanted to, we could copy the item very easily. We can select on the item, click again to copy, and then on the background click paste, and we can carry on and paste as many versions as we want. Now obviously this is just an example, and what I'll do is just show you how we could merge the items as well. So we've got one item selected, we could just click and select all others, and then just right mouse click on the grey background and say merge, and that just means we can perform common editing operations very easily just from the context of the view. Final thing I'll show is just for anyone with admin or above permissions, on the the row and column axes, you've now got access to a quick option that gets you through into the story setup where you can edit the rows, perhaps providing labels and descriptions or changing their colours. So previously the hyperlinks were available at the bottom of the view, but they're now available on the context menu, both on rows and columns.